Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Friends of Mortgage Heroes. I'm Andy.
And I'm Will.
And today we have with us Brian Koons, the builder Brian. Brian, welcome to the show.
Dude, thank you for having me. I'm so stoked to be here today.
Well, dude, you got like your sharp hat on. You got the Builder Nation brand you're building. I'm surprised it's so white, bro.
I know. Yeah, we've been able to keep it white for a little bit. We're just going as long as we can until I fall in some dirt.
Yeah, like how new is that thing, really?
So honestly, I've had it for a few months now, but it's because it's my show hat basically. Like I only wear it for things that are like appropriate to wear it for. It was that thing when I was a drill instructor. Actually, we had like a campaign cover that was our everyday, and then we had one that was for like ceremonies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of what this hat is.
That's pretty cool,
dude. That's smart. What a direct line translation. That's super cool.
So I just ordered a black hat today because I'm like I want to wear it to the gym and stuff, but I just can't justify wearing a white hat to the gym.
It's turn yellow and dingy and gross. So it's okay. It's proof of effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here because like you guys had met before, and I've met you because of our mastermind that we're in with 7-Figure Creator, and we're all kind of talking about or being about doing about kind of similar things in media space as well as our core work, with real estate in San Diego. And so Friends of Mortgage Shows is that platform where we can talk with our friends in and around real estate. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to say and what you're seeing on the front lines of things today, because what he's already told me about you was already impressive, and now I get to see it firsthand.
Exactly, man. What's really impressive is that beard, right?
I think it does take first place for best show beard so far.
Yeah, so make sure you tag in on the video one so you can see it, guys.
And honestly, it goes with the whole hat. It goes with the name, the Builder Nation, Builder Brian. How did you come up with that name?
Honestly, I make this joke all the time that people love alliterations, and it just kind of one day I decided and it stuck, and it was the Builder Brian, and I was like, I think there could be a whole brand around it of like the builder. And because I don't want it to be just ADUs, I want it to be development. I want it to be building a better life for yourself. I want it to be kind of all of it. And that's kind of where it came from. Is it's not just development. It's teaching people how to be better people and grow better lives.
Damn, bro, that is powerful.
That's
because the cool thing when I heard the name, I was like, it sounds cool, but I was like, Bob the Builder, right? Like that's Bob the Builder. But I like the way you're actually putting it. You're actually building people up. You're building Brian to be a better person for everyone else, which is pretty freaking awesome, dude.
I
love that, bro. That's powerful.
Yeah, that demonstrates some foresight, doesn't it? Like this is the thing I do, but it's also the thing I'm aspiring to grow out into and coach and bring people along with me. That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I have
first thing learned already.
I have not done a great job getting people knowledgeable on that yet, because I'm still trying to figure out the foundation of it all and really start to get that message across.
But the aspirational seed is there. Like that's the observation. Like it's already there. So like that'll sprout and that'll grow fruit later. That's super cool, man.
Yeah. The fact that you're just throwing your vulnerability out there, saying that you still don't have it all figured out, is really cool. Because if people follow you on your Instagram, your Facebook, I'm on Facebook. I already said my age, right? But when people are following you, like, you're putting so much good information out there and you're just giving it away. Because I know when I call you and I see you at these meetup groups, and I'm so thankful for, Andrew Gear, for Rich Somers, for putting all these things together, because that's how I was able to meet you. Hennish.
Yeah.
That's where I met you first. Yeah. And I was like, dude, you're with ADU Geeks.
Right.
And that wasn't so long ago, Brian. That was like, I want to say like maybe a couple of years ago. And then here you are. You're no longer with this huge company, ADU Geeks, and you decided to do it on your own. Like, what gave you the cojones to do that?
It was something, when I worked there, I got this crazy opportunity to see so many real estate development projects going on at a time in the market that it was this new thing, this ADU thing. I got in right at 2020, and this was even before I worked at the company. And it was the month that I bought my first, got an escrow on the first piece of land that I was buying to build something on. The bonus ADU program came out in San Diego. So we bought it expecting to put 4 units. We were able to put 8. And so my brain just kind of exploded. And during that process, I really just, I was like, I want to do real estate development full time. So I went to this company when it was still relatively in its infancy stages. I was like the 5th employee there at the time. And was like, hey, you guys are basically a development company, because a homeowner would say, hey, like, I want to do an ADU, but I have no idea how to do it because I'm a homeowner, I'm not a developer. And this company, the intention was that this company kind of hold their hand through the process and help them out. And so they saw over 500 projects while I was there. And I was kind of that head, I had a couple of people with me, but we were like that front line of like, I was helping them like underwrite, helping them determine scope of work, helping them do the feasibility on the projects, getting everything that you're supposed to do as a developer, helping them do it while I was simultaneously doing my own development projects. So everything that I had was always from the frame of like, what would I do on this? And so it was just this amount of reps that I got.
You're describing OTJ, bro. Like on the job training right there, bro. Like front
So
lines, heavy fire right away. That's crazy from the get, huh?
From the get. And it was during this time where like the company had its growing pains for sure. And so there was a lot of learning lessons internally, but paired with the cities were still learning too, because it was so new. Yeah. So there was a million fights that I had to fight with the cities, like interpretation that was like, oh, that's how that's interpreted. Like, I don't even think the city knew that they were going to interpret it like that. And just literally like, it was this super unique, like steep learning curve of like 3 years.
Yeah. But what an amazing way to like be in the middle and be immersed that way at that depth and with that frequency like that. That's like a accelerated learning course, man, or accelerated course of like absorbing all of that. That's incredible.
It was very wild. And yeah, like I'm very grateful for the opportunity, because I don't think that anyone else got that. Like, this was the biggest company in San Diego for sure on ADU development, and one of the largest in Southern California. And even people who have these companies that do it, they aren't also actively doing the development themselves. So it's like, it was just this like I would go toe to toe with pretty much anyone on it.
Talk about that, because I think that is that may not be as well known as you're saying it very easily to me. Talk about what that means.
So it just being there's designers, there's contractors, there's these people who are in this ADU space that can help facilitate a section of it, but none of them are actually a developer most of the time. Obviously, there's some people that maybe started, and I know a couple that now just kind of do their own development. But any of these companies where like a standard homeowner is going to go, there isn't really this frame of, hey, like the designer says, yeah, you can, I'll draw it for you. And then the contractor says, yeah, I'll build it for you. But there's no one in the middle of that saying, does this actually make sense to do? And who's going to manage the manager? And that's the developer. And so many times I got, I was learning these things. I was helping underwrite the deal. Like, buddy, I don't think you should build that on top of the garage, because it's going to be twice as expensive, because you're going to need to retrofit the bottom floor. Where they just think, like it'd be great to have it on top of the garage, so I get to keep my garage without thinking about that cost implication. Yeah. And so and that was kind of like my entire day. I used to joke, like my entire job was ripping off Band-Aids, because someone would call with this dream, and I would just tell him like, hey buddy, like literally yesterday, someone had this dream of like, oh, I'm going to build, I just want to see what all I can build on this great zoning. I'm like, honestly, like the best use of that is exactly what's there, because that lot sucks. Like, and I told it like, just straight up told them that. And I like, with all the love in the world, I'm like, honestly, I would just sell that and go find something conducive to AD development.
So something, you don't know that I'm going to say this. So something that you're demonstrating right now is something I just called out on another show not too long ago, which was oftentimes the thing that kills deals are the things that people don't know, or that they find out, or that they do know and they're ignoring. So if the deal sucks because it's a bad land or it's not a good lot and he didn't know that, well, man, it's a good thing you told him. Yeah. Or if you know that and you're not admitting that it's bad, you're going to end up having a really rough run at that.
And most of the time, Andy, I'm going to go with, this is a multiple choice A and B. I'm going to go with B. Mm-hmm. Most people ignore it. People see it because their ego just gets in the way of, what do they know? Especially when they see a Brian so young, what does he know, right? And they still go with it. And then once they start going in there into the building process and everything, it's like, whoa, I should have listened. But now they're too deep in it.
Exactly. Like it's so funny. People will call once they already have a deal. And I just immediately, I'm like, oh man, if you could have just called me like 2 weeks ago.
Like two steps upstream, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And and oftentimes like that actually does happen, where someone will call me and they'll say, yeah, like I want to do this thing. And I'm like, you can't do that. And they're like, no, I talked to this one random person, or like I talked to the city and they said yes. So they have that like kind of confirmation bias where they heard it one time. And I learned it's like the easiest way is like, hey, like I want to be wrong. 100%. Like show me exactly, like show me where, like I want to learn too. And almost unequivocally every time I've never heard from that person again. I was like, hey, just just ask where they got their information and present it to me, and I'm happy to help in any way I can.
There's a solid lesson in that, dude. Like, there's a real solid lesson in that. There's a lot to learn. If you didn't catch that, rewind 10 seconds. Listen to that as many times as you need to before hitting play again and continuing with the rest of the conversation.
Yeah,
that's solid,
awesome,
man.
I'm gonna actually I'm going to take a step back a little bit because I want our audience to understand who Brian really is, where he came from. So Willoughby, Ohio.
Willoughby, Ohio.
You know, and I just want to say thank you for your service, being a Marine. I know that we already have we're already serving our country, and a lot of times we get out of our normal lives to get into something where we need your direction. We need somebody to tell us how to get there and stuff. But how did you end up from Willoughby, Ohio? How the heck do you end up in California?
Yeah, a lot of steps to get there for sure. So you know, it started when I was in high school. My brother joined the Navy. He was like really the first person. Like I had like one other cousin that was in the military, but it wasn't really like a family thing. My brother joined, and I was just kind of, I think, pragmatic enough to realize that I didn't actually know what I wanted to do long term, and that if I tried to decide that when I was 18 years old, I'm not betting I'm betting against the odds that it's going to be the right thing. So I decided, hey, let's join the military. I knew I wanted to join, so I actually joined before. What I did was I joined the military band. So I was a tuba player. Okay. So you actually have to like audition for that.
Yeah.
And pass the audition, and it took me 4 tries. To do that.
Wow.
2 of them were like before I was like technically old enough to join, and then did one, was like just there, and then I did one more and finally joined. But in between those, I had actually like enlisted, so I had open contract, which if you don't know is like the stupidest thing you can do. So luckily worked out. That took me into the military at 18. Went to Virginia for a few months during training. Then I was stationed in North Carolina, and I was in the band, and I had a great experience there. Like the job itself is hilariously like simple. I don't want to say easy because every job has its issues, but
Correct.
It was a great job for what it was. However, it felt for me, I was kind of like missing that sense of purpose in a way, or that sense of feeling like I actually joined the military in a way. And I don't want to discredit any of the band members. There's people with Purple Hearts. There's amazing people in there. But it was just for me. I had a great experience, but it lacked something for me. So I figured the only logical thing to do was to go be a drill instructor. So kind of the opposite side of the spectrum.
Damn,
to try to even it out. And so I went there and did the drill instructor thing, and that's what brought me over to San Diego in 2019. And when I was there at drill instructor school, there was this guy that talked to all the drill instructors, because everyone, comes from wherever else in the country or outside of the country, moves to this one spot, and they're there for 3 months before they actually get stationed there in case they get dropped, because there's a pretty decent attrition rate.
Really?
And from there, then obviously buy a house. So we had somebody who talked to them about like, hey, here's how to use your VA loan to go buy a house. Here's some of the benefits. And he mentioned like this one little blurb about like how to make $100,000 in 3 years. And the whole thing was you buy a house, you get the the debt pay down, you get the appreciation, and then also if you rent out the other rooms or you rent out the other units, because you can buy 1 of 4, you can get all that income as well.
Who's this guy?
He's Tony Glenn.
Damn, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, he's up in he's up in like Oceanside areas.
That's good information.
But that's what stuck with me. And at that point, I wasn't old enough I wasn't a high enough rank to live off base. I still lived in the barracks, so I didn't get the housing allowance.
Gotcha.
It wasn't really the right time. And I was also a drill instructor, which if you don't know, you work like 20 to 24 hour days pretty much every day, like 7 days a week. It's a very wild job. But when COVID happened, I was able, I kind of had the seed for about a year, and then COVID happened, and I went to go do a supplementary job as a drill instructor where I was helping essentially babysit recruits while they were getting quarantined in hotels before they went to boot camp. So the job was significantly less stressful, and less time consuming. But then at the same time, they kicked us all off base because they needed those those rooms to quarantine those recruits. So I got the housing allowance. So that paired with the lower interest rates at the time allowed me to get into something. I didn't realize at the time how many things align for there, but I just knew I was like, now is the moment. Let's take advantage of it. And I reached out to somebody on Bigger Pockets. He was one of the highest rated people on Bigger Pockets for agents. And I was like, I want to do this house hack thing. And he'd already done it. He'd already done it several times in San Diego.
Oh my God.
And he sent me these 2 master classes from his broker at the time, and watched those. It was 8 hours worth of class. I'm like, let's do it. And for about 2 weeks, I was underwriting deals. Started at duplexes because it was you buy a unit and you live in the other one. Realized that didn't hit my criteria of trying to live for free at the time. So I started looking at triplexes, and then I was like, oh wow, triplexes work better and quads work better because it's basically you're almost buying in bulk per unit. And I found, I put in probably like 10 or 15 offers over the course of like 2 weeks. And that was like middle of May I started, and June 5th I was in escrow.
Bro, listen, hold on. There's a lot in this story. You're describing what I'll summarize as like full attack mode.
Blindly.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Can you satisfy my curiosity really quick? How many times as a drill instructor did you wake up your recruits with a tuba in their ear?
So if I had one issued to me as a drill instructor, the number would be significantly higher.
Oh, dang it.
I know.
In my mind, I'm like, oh, I hope he did this. But no,
not any of the times there. It was just, I just got to yell at him a bunch.
Another show first for me. First ever military band member and tuba player. All right.
Yeah.
Dope. I did not know. There's no way I would have known that. We're gonna have to figure out a way to incorporate in your media, bro. We're gonna have to share some ideas offline. There's some funny things I think we could do.
Yeah. No, that's pretty awesome. That's where you came from Marine Corps to being a real estate investor now.
Yep.
Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so what habits have you learned in the military that are helping you be more regimented into your investments now as you have this experience? So like, what is it that you did actually for this property that you purchased?
Yeah. So the biggest thing was I'm a firm believer in like foundation is like the most important thing. And so in my first enlistment, I actually I didn't even know what a duplex was. Like I didn't know what that was. And so I had no background in real estate. All my family was like, most of them were like homeowners in Ohio, but no one was like really an investor or anything. And all I understood was like, or the things that I kind of fell into at least, and I think it was just because of habitual, beliefs, was I started going to the gym on a regular basis when I was in my first enlistment. And what that does is when you go to the gym, especially early in the morning, you don't like to go out to drink. So you automatically are taking care of your body more. You're getting better sleep, more quality sleep. You start out going to the gym. You inherently spend less money. So I started saving up money pretty early on. I made it like a game. I remember every paycheck, you get paid, twice a month, and we were only making like $1,000 a paycheck at the time, which after, tax and everything is actually not like terrible, especially with free housing and all this stuff. Yeah. But I just made it a point. I was like, every paycheck I have to save at least $500. And so I was doing that for doing that for as long as I could.
Proportionally, that's a really big chunk.
Yeah, no, I for sure. And it was like, it was almost like a game. I was like, how much money can I save? And it wasn't, it was never from the frame of like, how do I like reduce my life, my lifestyle, the niceties in life to do that. It was just, it was almost like that pay yourself first. Like I just paycheck hit, immediately moved into another account, and then I just lived my life.
But all the things you're describing reinforce that positive behavior cycle, because you're talking about, if I'm going to get up and go to the gym early, that means I can't be out late the night before. Well, if I'm not out late the night before, then I'm not spending that money, which means if I'm not spending that money, then I actually have it in that $500 little part to insert into my future. Mm-hmm. That's super smart, man. There's again, if you missed that, go back and there's a lesson in that little formula that's all self-reinforced for the outcome you're wanting. That's super dope, man.
Yeah, and I like to share that. When you did this house hacking, how old were you?
24 when I closed. It was like 2 days after my birthday.
You can't do it, a lot of times you feel like, well, I'm scared to do that. But you have the right people navigating you through this. I mean, you purchased a 1.2 million fourplex. What was going through your mind when you got that? Like, come on, you're 24. You're barely like.
Oh yeah, I definitely worried my mother for sure. So if she's listening to this, sorry, Mom. It turned out okay so far.
Yes, it did.
But it was, I mean, for me, it was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've always learned, and this actually goes back to like my brother. My brother, I got a lot of learning lessons of what not to do as a kid from my brother. And it was great. So I think that kind of habit of I don't need to make a mistake to learn it, right? And so it was kind of like the same thing as like, I don't need to learn every single thing about real estate. I just need to I need to know the right questions to ask, and then go ask somebody who is smarter than me to do it. And that was kind of what I did, was like, I asked, like I said, I found the agent on Bigger Pockets. He was like the highest rated in San Diego. So I'm like, okay, well, Yelp doesn't lie. So I immediately I don't want to say I completely trusted him, but I
of course.
I listened to him. His broker gave like 8 hours worth of just webinars and master classes, and he gave me like an underwriting tool, and I'm just like, pulling comps is not that hard, and so I would just run numbers, and the numbers numbered, whether it was 1 unit or 5 units. I just looked at the percentages. I didn't really care about
that's the beauty about
amount.
Math, right? Like if the math, then it's good.
Exactly. And that was that's how I did it. Was I didn't care whether it was like 1.2 or $200. Like I don't care. It's like the number it's the percentage. Like, does this actually functionally make sense?
Yeah.
Where people think inherently a lower, like I have this conversation with people all the time, is like, if they think about buying something that's cheaper because it's less risky. And I'm like, that's not what determines risky or not.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the how I got into it, and wasn't really like, I was nervous, right?
Of course, like anything else. I mean, it's one of the biggest expenses you're making, but you're also here in California. You're in San Diego. We're
Right.
landlocked.
Yeah.
You know, and so the fact that you got a fourplex, that automatically puts you above everyone else. Being at that 24 and understanding already the vision of being an investor and having 4 doors, that's quite an accomplishment
Thank you.
in itself, right? Because we all start with saying, no, I want that dream home. Like, and I always tell people, like, if you're young, you have no kids, look at the bigger picture. This sacrifice of 4 units is going to get you to that nicer home and that bigger dream home,
Yeah.
you know? Because it's
yeah.
a proven fact that people end up moving or selling, doing some type of movement within the first 4 to 7 years.
Yeah, every
You know?
time. Like it's so fun. I have that conversation so often with people, and even like with ADUs, right? Like people would be like, well, I don't want to live in that unit, or I wouldn't want to live in that unit because it's too small for them. They're like, oh, I couldn't do a 400 square foot 1-1. And I'm like, you're not the demographic. Like, you are not the person that you're building this for.
Right.
And it really.
That's crazy. So you're going from there, and now you have this 4 doors. Do you still own those?
I do. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're not letting go of anything here.
So I have let go of things. That one specifically has a 2.25 interest rate on it.
Oh, dude. Let me guess, you got it in 2020?
I got it in 2020. I used my VA loan, and I made $600 at closing. So
All of our 2 1/4s from 2020.
Oh yeah, no. It was actually
Well,
to be
21
fair,
a
it
little
was
bit, too.
275, but
Yeah.
then they did an Earl and it dropped, and
Yeah.
now it's a 225.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
If you don't know what the Earl is, drop a comment. We'll help you out with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll help
That was
you
a
with
plug.
that.
Yeah. Oh,
So
man.
now you're going in there, you got your property, now you become a landlord because now you have to lease 3 properties. You have to hold the largest one out of the 4. You know, that's the rule with VA. So you're renting the other 4. How did you get any guidance to do this?
So luckily and unluckily, I inherited the tenants. It was a newly renovated property. It was a flip. In hindsight, it was a flip.
Okay.
So cool, but also there's things that come with flips. But they rented out all 3 of the other units right before I moved. I bought it, so a month to 3 months beforehand. I went in. Everyone was paying. It was fine. And then this one tenant specifically, after a few months, I actually renewed the lease with him because he'd been paying for several months.
Yeah.
But then about 5 months in, they stopped paying, and like I said, I don't want to assume anything, but I definitely believe that there was some sort of paraphernalia for certain activities in the house, and there was 2 people on the lease, and I at one time counted 12 that came out when the police were called. So I dealt with that for about 3 months during COVID. Trying to evict somebody is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Went full cycle on the eviction, and got to the point the sheriff said, hey, pound on the door and said, hey, I'm Sheriff so-and-so. I'm here for a court-ordered eviction, which if you don't know, that's the exact words they have to say every single time. The dude grabbed a backpack and walked across the street and tried to break in like several other times after that, and say he still lived there, and
Wow.
got a lot of
Oh,
learning
my
lessons very
God.
quickly on
What an
landlording.
experience.
Dude,
it was
this is crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, it's crazy hearing it, but it's like, how many of these stories do you also hear nowadays where it's like someone's either squatting or doing something they're not supposed to do at the place, and then they try to claim that they live there when maybe they've been evicted?
yeah,
I think the internet's actually amplified that a lot. I mean, you didn't used to see this a lot, but now on social media you see, come with me as I walk to my rental property and I evict these people, and the sheriff's in the background.
It's because there's professional tenants now.
Dude,
There's
that's
people
so-
that they
I know.
share, here's
That's
how you
so
stay
nuts.
in a property
Yes.
without paying, and here's the things you do. Like, I know a buddy who had a tenant, I think it was like an Airbnb person that was like squatting there, and every time that they would go to the eviction hearing, they would file bankruptcy. And that would prevent them from being able to go to that eviction.
That's
And then the
nuts.
second, like all the way at the end, they would pull it out. And
I want to say one of our very first shows ever with, I think, Alan Enoch's a real estate attorney. He was talking about this, where there's like people in a multi-generational family. And then if the husband would file for bankruptcy, that gives like a 6-month period. And then at the end of the 6, the wife would do it next.
Yep.
And then the grandma would do it. And it would elongate this
So they could live there
duration.
for
I'm like,
next
what?
year.
Oh, shoot, now I'm just telling people how to do it. Damn it.
and
Sorry.
cut that part.
Anyways, cut. No, definitely don't do that. You a-holes.
That's crazy. So how long after that was it when you're like, I'm gonna go to ADU Geeks? I want to build now.
Yeah, so bought this first property in July of 2020. And in November so in between July and November, I was at this point where I bought this property. It was completely flipped. I hadn't started evicting somebody yet. So I just thought that real estate was so easy. You just bought something and it cash flowed $2,000 a month, and then you just go do it again. And so I went to the bank and went to the lender. I was like, hey, I'm ready to buy the next one. And he basically just laughed. He's like, you don't qualify for anything. Because I bought like the most expensive thing that I possibly could. So all that said, like, I had been going to meetups and things like that, and I actually at that time had met the CEO of ADU Geeks, Kalani, that we were talking about.
Yeah.
He was doing a presentation on ADUs, and this was really the first time I'd heard about it. Was like, hey, this thing where you build it 300, you sell it 700, and that was kind of this little mantra that stuck with me, and I was like, that makes a ton of sense. And so that was my next step. Was like the only logical thing to go from house hack is to buy land and build stuff. There's nothing in between those. And,
straight leap.
Yeah, straight leap. And so I met some people. Like I had a buddy that I met at a mastermind community thing that I was in, and then another guy at a meetup. And the three of us got together. The one guy's dad was a contractor, and we basically all were like, let's build some stuff. And we met. I met the third guy in November. And we were in escrow in December on land.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And that was the land that doubled in unit count overnight.
New show from first date to I do with Brian, with the builder Brian. Wow. November to December.
It was a 48-hour thing. That's great, dude.
48 hours to chaos.
What's that called? 90 day? Is like some 90-day newlywed show or something? You should do one for building. That's funny.
So I got into that, and and I through that time period, because it was so interesting to me, I was like, we doubled the unit count because I just read a bunch of stuff, and I was like, oh, we could do this thing, and then you could do that thing with this thing, and so I basically for another year of like 2021, I became this kind of like this ADU guy at all the meetups that I would talk to, and I would actually saw the CEO set like many more times, like probably 10 or 12 more meetups, because he was great at marketing, and it would be to the point where he'd ask a question about ADUs, he'd be like, anyone can answer except Brian. Like it was like a joke.
Anybody other than Brian? Anyone other than your name's Brian, but you're not that Brian? Okay, you Brian.
You Brian. Exactly. And so over that year, and then one other connection is he actually used to be an officer for drill instructors at San Diego.
Yeah.
So it was a very, because I was a drill instructor at the time when I met him, so it was like a very like quick connection.
Brotherhood
too.
in that.
Yeah. And so I just.
But he wasn't a tuba player.
He was not a tuba player. There's like 10 of us in the entire Marine Corps. It was very weird. Very strange. So I was getting towards the end. I knew that I'd wanted to get out, and like I said, I knew I wanted to be a developer, but I saw this opportunity at this company that I was like, you guys are doing what a real estate developer needs to do. You're managing the project, you're doing the designs, you're doing all these things. Let me come in and figure out how we also do it for ourselves. That was the whole pitch. Got there and just, I grew in every different direction. I did like basically like every single job aside from like actually drawing the stuff at the company at one point. And we just, I saw and I grew throughout that. And so that's kind of how I got there. I was doing SkillBridge actually, which is the.
Oh, you're doing,
so that was that's how I got over there. Is I got like 6 months of free.
And that's why I wanted to go back to the start, right? When you started in Ohio, how you're going through all this, because that's just not so long ago, Brian. Like if you really think about that, you've done so much, not realizing like, I went by and house hacked with my VA. I think that's incredible what you did, getting 4 doors. You learned how to become a landlord, and then actually evicting. I've been a landlord for so many years. Thank God, knock on wood, I haven't gone through eviction. Thank goodness, But the whole goal here in San Diego is what's motivating is these values, the incentives of actually building an accessory dwelling unit, and
Absolutely.
These things you just see like, what can I do with this property? So earlier you were talking about people wanting to build on top of the garage, understanding that you have to dig almost all the way down to China to reinforce the foundation. You know what I mean? And I'm one of those. I went through that, and I was like, what the heck? Who's down there, bro? Like, it was scary. You know what I mean? And so I get that it's very expensive, and that's why now I want to go back to what you were saying earlier. Like, you need the right people. You need that person that overlooks what the contractor's doing, what the designer designed. They need another set of eyes, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, and that's something where that was part of the learning lessons that I had at this company. Is at the end of the day, they were a design company, right? So there was still this gap of no one was managing the manager, where for me, that's kind of where I learned just going through this process, seeing so many of the mistakes, seeing when to start certain things. I really saw this opportunity where it's like there's so many homeowners that need to be able to, that now are sitting on an underdeveloped property because of these ADU regulations, but they don't have the experience of a seasoned developer. And so my entire mission now is basically take like all the learning lessons and nightmares that I experience on my own projects, which is a plethora of those, and all the learning lessons and experiences of all other 500 projects, and synthesize it in a way that can help somebody do it and skip the learning curve.
What's super dope about that, though, I mean, and I hope this isn't overstating the obvious, but like they're finding you at mile marker 500, not mile marker 5 or 10 or 15. Like you're 500 deep or 500 plus deep into that now. So people who do have an underdeveloped property and don't know what to do, they can find you in that place, or you're finding them in that place, really. Exactly. And you're like, hey, let me take you along this journey. I already know where we need to go and how to get there. And I think that can naturally breed a lot of confidence in the process.
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned that that's honestly like, that was, I think, where I had the most success is like, I literally just like was nerding out with the person. I'm like, oh, we're talking about this. Like, oh, we can't forget about this thing. And we can't, and people are just like, oh my God. Like, and that was kind of where it's, you know, you have the unconscious incompetence where people just don't know what they don't know. The goal and the point is where what I would do is I would get them to the point of conscious incompetence to realize like there's actually a lot of stuff that can go wrong. And, you know, and that's kind of what I do now is I try and give them wherever they're at, like whatever level of do-it-yourself they want, give them resources and tools and things to help them through. But yeah, it's like getting to the point where it's like, these people just start, they're like, oh yeah, like I want to do an ADU. I heard my neighbor did it, not knowing that they have different zoning because that zoning map cut off right there.
Right.
And they would go, they get the design done, and then the person's like, oh yeah, it'll be $3,000 to draw it. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we need structural engineering. That's another $30,000. Then, oh, we need Title 24. It's $1,000. Oh, we're going to submit to the city. We submit to the city. That's going to be $10,000 for plan check fees. Oh, and then by the way, like you can't build it because you're too close to the building, or you don't have enough room, or there's a setback or an easement or whatever it is. Like I've seen so many, like literally so many things.
Yeah,
that have, like,
I could tell.
So, but yeah,
Wow.
and it's like, yeah, it's honestly, it's like checklists and just following up with people is like 90% of the job.
Yeah,
but it's knowing how to do it.
I get that, but hold on, man. Don't undersell yourself there. You can say it's checklist all day long, but the track record and experience and the like on the job experience and seeing so many of them through to completion super matters. It matters a lot, especially to someone who might look. They may only do this once. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everybody you're going to talk to has already done 10 and wants to do 50 more over their lifetime. Right. It is going to be sometimes when someone who said there has only their one place and they're going to do it one time, and their ability to be confident in that, and then you kind of come alongside them and carry them through that finish line matters a lot downstream. And I know you know that, but also, if you're watching this and you feel like that, like this is the kind of person you need to find. You need to find someone that's going to like meet you where you're at, understand what your questions and concerns are, be sympathetic to those, but also be action oriented moving forward. And it's super critical right here in San Diego, especially because of the way property values have gone and the demand issues that we're having, affordability for people, like on and on and on. I'm really proud of you for doing that and being that
Absolutely.
way. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
You know, the biggest thing is the affordability. You just mentioned San Diego is very expensive. And so one of the things that we've been doing since I've done several garage conversion ADUs, you know, I look at 20 by 20, 400, one bedroom, one bath. That's perfect. That's a good, especially in this area, you can actually lease these out anywhere from 18 to 2,200, depending where you're at. So since I do work with a lot of military, obviously we're mortgage heroes. We work with a lot of militaries. I try to get my past clients to think of their garage not as storage space, but as an investment for legacy space.
Absolutely.
You know, and when you're doing your cash on cash conversion, I tell them who's paying you anywhere from 26 to 33% rate of return on your investment.
Yeah.
And some people have a hard time. They still like, no, I still need to park my car, my car in the garage, right, to keep it clean. I'm like, you know how many times you can wash that car on a monthly basis if you just rent that thing
accurate.
out? You know what I mean? It's like build a shed. So I encourage a lot of people to do what you advise them to do. Do you think I'm incorrect for even expressing that, especially for a military to build generational wealth?
No, honestly, I think that's one of the best things about this whole thing is like you don't have to buy more land to do it. You can take advantage of exactly what's existing already. You can build cheaper, especially if you have a garage or something, and you can add that income to qualify for more. You can there's a bunch of different ways to finance it, especially if you bought something where you still have like a little bit of entitlement, or you can still qualify for something. You can add the ADU, and you can refinance out, you can reuse your VA loan. There's so many opportunities with it, and it's literally, and then also just the amount of resolve that you build from going through that process. You now could do it again because it's, whether you do a garage conversion or you do 20 units, 75 to 85% of it is going to be the same. But now it's like, hey, let's make sure we check this. Like, make sure we do all of these things. And all of a sudden, it's a repeatable thing, just like any other investment strategy. It's generally the same thing, but now you are more, you're doing it in your backyard first, getting the learning lessons while you don't necessarily have, $200,000 into the holding costs on a property.
Well, let's personalize. Maybe if I can, let's try to personalize it for a second. Like, can you tell us about maybe something that you had to like overcome in this process of doing this yourself, but then also now helping other coach and let's say lead and guide people into that direction? Like, what's something maybe you've had to overcome in your own journey of this success path we're watching unfold?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So obviously, a lot of my real estate investment portfolio and journey has been in this real estate development space. But I mean, I've done ones where I've done renovations, I've done flips, I've done, builds, I've done just permitting, I've done all these things. And every single one has been this like secondary learning lesson. And the biggest one I think was the land that we'd bought. We actually sold it before we even made it all the way through permitting. Because we bought it and we were able to double the unit count, and we were able to just sit on it for about a year and a half in COVID, basically. So we bought it for $420 and we sold it $1.05 million, and it wasn't even fully permitted yet. It was the most absurd thing that ever, like, that won't happen again, right? But we did that, and we 1031 into 3 properties, and I thought I was on top of the world. I was like, we're killing it. I'm out of the military now. Like, I just got out of the military right before that. I'm like, out of the military, I just lost like 20 pounds. Like, I can grow out my hair. Like, I'm like, I am a catch, bro. And we got our asses kicked. We figured out what over leveraging was. We figured out how different it is going through permitting on one property to 13 units of renovation at the same time. We learned about cash flow issues. We learned about doing unpermitted work. We learned about code violations in more detail. Like, it's just everything. Homeless people, I almost died at one of the properties. I thought I was going to die at one of the properties. That was the whole thing.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. You're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe your hand was your hand was on, or your hand was not on, that you had to overcome and encounter, like, some permitting issues and code enforcement, all that. Like, those are real things. Those are real things that other people, people will try to make sure. I'm making this pit stop because people will try to make shortcuts in the process. Yeah. They're ultimately going to hurt you, cost you more money, more time. Yes or no?
Yeah, 100%.
100%
every time.
So, word of caution to all of you watching: learn from this, because you've obviously learned from this. It's your response to the question is even like, this is something that you had to encounter, overcome, and then achieve through. But I want to know about the homeless part. What do you mean you almost died?
So there was one of the properties that we built. We did it without permits, and so we didn't rent it out until we weren't going to rent it out because of the risk associated with that, until we actually had the permit, and it was the code violation was off of it. During that time period, there was homeless people that started breaking into the property. And that was like, not an irregular thing. It was in Logan Heights. We kind of understood the neighborhood. And so I would go and I would, kind of shoo them away and things like that. But there was this one time, it was a specific time, it was a Saturday night. I was like with my girlfriend, I was going to pick up pizza, and I was like, just a good night, right? And I get a call from the neighbor, and she's like, hey, somebody like moved into the unit. Like, their bed's in there. Everything's there. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I literally, like, pizza was ordered, like, we were ready to go. And so I was like, man, whatever. So we like drove over there and parked in the alleyway. And I talked to like 2 of the neighbors, the ones that called me, and I was like, hey, I'm going to yell like really loud. It's just, I was a drill instructor. Like, it's just kind of, it's just a show. So I went in. I, in hindsight, should not have handled it like this. Just want to preface it, like, very, very much like this.
Oh, man.
So went in. She like locked herself in the bathroom, and so I heard her like shuffle around. I was like, yep. I was like, get the out, and I like kicked the door open, like broke the door, like started throwing everything. I was like, get out! Like, she's screaming at me, I'm screaming at her. It was a whole thing, and I grabbed this like PVC pipe and started like banging it on stuff as she's like walking down the alleyway. She's yelling at me, I'm yelling at her. And I'm just like, whatever, right? So I go lock up and I start walking back out to the car, and I see these 3 dudes, like teardrop tattoos, buttoned up, chains, like walking at me.
What?
And the only context that
wait, you're in Logan Heights?
I'm in Logan Heights.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and my girlfriend's like in the car, like in the alleyway watching this. I'm like, I'm going to die. Like, cause
no. She's like, I thought we were just having pizza.
Exactly. Somehow she's still with me. It's crazy. And so like the only context they have is this like, short, this young white man with a stick yelling at an elderly black lady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my, I'm going to die. Like, and so they come up and they're like, she needs her stuff. We're going to get, I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm just like trying to say whatever I need to do to like not die at the time. And about 2 minutes in, I was like, come, get the stuff with me and explained whatever. He's like, oh, like this is your crib. Like we thought, we didn't have any other context. We're neighbors down the street. And we just saw that. And I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, this is yours. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. So from that moment on,
dude,
you had from that moment now you had bodyguards now.
Oh, no, well, I stopped like pretending that I was a bodyguard.
Oh my God.
That was really the thing. Like that was the last time I ever went to a property and tried to play a cop myself.
Man.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that fully answered the question.
Yeah, of course it does.
Well, yeah, it has a little wrinkle in the conversation. But dude, that's crazy, bro.
Of course.
That was a fun
we were
lesson.
talking about earlier why I don't want to grow a mustache. Imagine if I was able to with a little teardrop. What's up about the look?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Like,
look at you,
bro.
Then
you're scaring off a woman, and us Hispanics, how we are with our women, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, you're lucky to be
toasted.
here.
No, bro, you can't just do the teardrop and the mustache. You'd have to get rid of your white shorts, bro.
Yeah,
you can't,
bro.
no more white shorts, memo.
Man, but that's good. Sometimes
That's scary.
Sometimes we need to go
wild.
through these life lessons and realize, take a step back, because in life, we're so reactive with things. We want everything yesterday, and so the fact that you just went in there, and I know you have this military experience, you think you could use it everywhere, but the realization that there's a different approach how you have to do things that's the growth within ourselves, and so I'm glad that you're going to now figure out a different way. Yeah, don't break doors open. It just costs you more money, by the way,
exactly.
And so now we're going with adding more expenses because you guys were over leveraging right there. Like, how did you guys get over that situation, or what lesson did you learn from that? How do you go about it?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I learned was when you are worried about where cash is coming from, you're managing money, you're not managing projects.
Whoa.
That in itself was probably the biggest thing because I just basically wasted 3 projects worth of learning lessons and building processes and systems if I ever actually wanted to scale something. Like, yeah, you have the person that they can do one property and never have to look back, but I would imagine that most people want to do something that's repeatable and systemizable so that way you can do it over and over again if it's successful. And I missed that opportunity of like 1.5 years of my time and stress because I was just so worried about paying the next mortgage. And I was arguing with the lender to try and get part of the draw for the work that was unpermitted. And it was a nightmare. So, yeah.
Wow. Dude, those are lessons hard fought and hard won. Dang.
You have over 500 life lessons in these ADUs. What's that one lesson you feel like developers should know right from the get-go?
Make sure the project is feasible before you buy it.
Wow.
Physical and financial. So make sure you can actually build it and make sure that it actually makes sense to build financially. Those are the 2 things. Everything else, you can do a lot of things wrong. And I say this from the experience of 2 of those projects. We fire sold because we did them extremely poorly because of the money, the cash flow issues and things like that. But I knew that the projects were feasible physically and financially. So we actually made money still on both of the projects we sold.
Wow.
So,
well, actually, so going back to something you said earlier about how like foundation is everything, like that makes sense that you would say that it's, feasible and it's financial because that's the foundational element for everything else is to follow.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Is that as you said, I'm like, oh, duh, he just told us that. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
Everything's in cycles. Everything's just repeats itself. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. Because once if it's a flip, right, you sell it 3 months later or 6 months later, you make a couple grand. Like you do a development project, you are in that thing for years, probably longer than 25% of the marriages out there. It's a long time.
It's all not related, but related.
Yeah. I'm so glad you bring that up because everybody's like, I want to build an ADU, it's going to happen tomorrow. No, you still got to go to the designer. The designer has to make sure that, it complies with the city, codes. And then to get the approval for that so first of all, the designer is going to take anywhere from 3, depending who you get, 3 to 6 months, sometimes even a year. And then Then to go to the permits, a lot of the designers, they get a little,
bogged down
or spoiled. Like, I'm going to take it to get permits later, whatever. And so then that's another 4 to 6 month process. And then by the time you get to choose the developer and find the financing, that's another 3 to 6 months. So you're really taking completing a project within, I'm going to say 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't want to deter anyone from doing AD development. It is one of the best, if not the best investment strategy out there today.
Yeah, but know what you're getting into.
And that's the thing. It's relatively simple as long as you do the things right in the beginning. Because like I said, once you determine it's physically and financially feasible, everything else, maybe they take some more time, and there are those own issues where the whole story is on that. But in general, as long as you pick the right team and you stay relatively on top of it, it's a fairly simple process. Even if you're sending a few emails a week on follow-ups to them, you're not really doing anything. Yeah. Outside of that, you just need to make sure that you know where things are at. So I think that's one of the biggest things with it is just maintaining control of it like that. And yeah.
And speaking of maintaining control, how do you keep control? How many projects do you currently are managing right now?
So right now we have 2 in construction, and we have 6. We have 5 in permitting, and then another one that we're in escrow on right now.
Wow.
So honestly, the biggest way. So I'm actually building that out right now because basically I learned a lot of the information and a lot of the ways to do things and to not do things, and because I was so in it, I was working at this company, I never really took the time to build it out, right? And so since I left, that's one of my biggest things is this development company, HK Development, that we have now. My entire job is how do we make this systemizable, repeatable, and scalable? And so that's what we've been doing. We've been building out. Notion is a huge thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
You use Notion?
I love
Awesome.
Notion. It is I've spent so much time in there, and I have my entire life run out of there, my entire business.
Wow.
Both businesses. So I have the development company, and then I have the mastermind community, everything for the business, the tech stack,
that's super cool.
I use it for everything.
That's
amazing.
super cool.
Nice. So
now you're building all the steps and process of the company, but then that makes it turnkey in a sense.
Exactly. And so that's when I left, I didn't realize how much there was in building a business, not necessarily just being, I want to do a development project. You can do a development project all day with, I talked to people when I was doing some research because I'm working on creating a software to help people, homeowners actually do development and actually have the knowledge of developer. It's a whole different side note.
Wow. Nice.
But I talked to a bunch of people who have done ADU projects before, and I'm like, hey, how did you keep track of your expenses? Oh, a black notebook. Hey, how do you keep track of your to-dos? Oh, a whiteboard. I'm like, what are we doing in 2025? So yeah.
Hey, I use WhatsApp.
That's crazy.
I do. That's one of the things. One of the things I think the misconception of people. I had it when I started my ADU and I already had the plans ready to go. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go to my retirement, use those funds and get it, And I was not thinking like an investor, And so then I went through Pace Morby, Rich Summers, Andrew, and I'm like, all these guys like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to learn how to do my loan. That's how to learn how to do ground up construction, you know? Yeah, so in 2023 is when I started learning, and I started doing loans for other investors, and I see how they're doing. I'm like, I think I like that better. Yeah. I like this whole draw thing. Now I have to find the contractor that is willing to fund it and then get a reimbursement.
Right.
And I thought that was key, bro. Mm-hmm. That was just what? There's a budget. There was so much numbers, so much money right there that I was just like, one, thank goodness I didn't have to use my own funds, so I still keep making interest on my retirement, which is great.
Yeah.
And then I'm letting the project fund itself. Right. And then I heard of this thing called an interest reserve. I was like,
oh yeah,
what? Wait a minute. Wait. I can borrow money, and because the project has so much meat in the bone, I can finance 12 months of my payments and not worry about payments for 12 months. Yeah. That's exactly right. And I was like, this is a game changer.
No, there's so many. When you have a good project, it's so easy to finance. It's so funny. I get asked all the time, how do I finance my ADU? And my answer is the same every time. Don't buy a bad deal. It literally, it's the simplest way. And that can be a bad deal from the perspective of you have no equity.
Yeah.
Because you just bought, and so that's something that I would tell anyone in the military, buying a house, look for something you can add some value to, yes. Whether it be the ADU or whether it be going and doing some renovations and stuff while you live there. because like that's what makes it a good deal. That lenders do not want to lend on a deal with no meat on the bone.
Exactly. The other thing that I do find challenging is finding an investor that's going to invest for primary residence. That's a huge roadblock. Like when I see a person that does own their home and they have an investment, it's so much easier just with an LLC, and there's like no recourse and stuff. It's like so much easier. And so my advice, like for homeowners, especially because again, we work with military, I tell them, let me see your TSP. And then I see their G fund, like they're making like 3, like bro, like, but okay.
Come here, buddy.
This is the time we're going to take a hardship loan. Okay. We're going to create that. It's going to take you anywhere from $65,000 to $110,000. But if you do the math, you'll see what your ROI is going to be. Yeah. Your cash on cash.
No, it's so funny. And the other trick too, like the little hidden gem of it is like, if you can get into something with an owner occupied loan, spend that 12 to 18 months going through permitting while you live there and fix it up. Then you can leverage that and move out of the property at the same time, or wait until the 24 months, move out at 24 months, and then you get the first $250K or $500K tax free after you build it, and all of a sudden you can rip $500,000 tax free in 3 years. Like
great advice, bro. Don't leave me hanging here, bro. That's great advice. And that's what I love that you went through, because you were born rich, right? So we already know that. I mean, that's why you joined the military.
Absolutely.
But I love that you bring all that over here and you're just pushing this information out. So now I understand where, the builder Brian came from. And so I appreciate that you're sharing that, because all the advice you've given and I've heard, it's about building a better community, not only for yourself, but it sounds like for others, which is awesome.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So what's one of the things that, like, obviously we're hearing your story play out and your draw into ADUs and where it started, all that, but what's the pursuit that's still driving you right now in this space that makes this space so important to you?
Yeah. So personally, I'm a firm believer in just doing the day-to-day things and in having enjoyment in those. So I enjoy, like, every day, I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy talking to people that I believe are fun to talk to. I enjoy development specifically because to me, that is one of the most creative ability, or one of the most creative methodologies of real estate investing.
Yes.
Because when you're doing a house flip, when you're doing, an Airbnb, whatever, you're contained inside of what exists. Where when you're doing development, it doesn't exist yet. So I just believe that there's this extra layer of creativity. And then, you travel, you do all these things. And so it's one of those things where I don't necessarily know what like the end goal is per se. I just know that as long as I'm doing the foundational things, like caring about my health, my relationships, my financial future, like all those things, it doesn't matter where I end up. Like maybe I'll find that thing one day where I'm like, that's the thing that I like need to do forever. But right now I so enjoy the people I work with. I enjoy teaching this ADU thing to as many people that'll listen.
That'll listen. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's rad, because we talk about this and we use, there's this term that everyone's heard at this point probably, which is the fun is in the fundamentals. Yeah. And like I wrestled with that for a long time when I was a younger man. But it's just so true. Like, and it goes hand in hand with the how you do one thing is how you do all things, and all. So these idioms we have, they end up being true as you become an older man and lose all your hair and can't grow a beard. Just this reference.
Yeah, mine's going away, so the beard was very validating.
Well, your beautiful white hat is covering it up very well.
Yeah.
But I think finding fun in the fundamentals is something we've had to talk about too.
Absolutely.
It's like, it might be a trudge and it might be hard work, but the outcome is what we're striving for. And so again, not super surprised at hearing your story and your backstory and how you got here and what you do, and just watching you light up about things you're talking about. I'm also not surprised that you're saying like enjoying just the ins and outs of the day, because to me, I hear that's the fun in the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I've actually never heard that before, but it makes a ton of sense.
Well, you're a lot younger than me, so.
Yeah.
I love it.
Way younger, yeah.
I love that. You're so young. You're already looking at it this way. Like that is something, the reason why I got into the ADUs is because I'm like, well, wait a minute. I can build at 250 square feet. I know I'm here near the border, so I got some connects, it's easier. But then when the values are like 500 to 600 a square foot, it's like, I think now I look at things way differently. Mm-hmm. I want to teach my kids, my grandkids in a different way, because, we keep saying this, but I think providing financing for our younger generation is going to be a lot more difficult. Will you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think and that's really where like this actually solves a lot of it, where especially with AB 1033, which is the condoization of ADUs now, it's letting people in that younger generation like actually get into something. And I think that there's just going to be so much opportunity.
Have you started seeing people sell them off as individual units yet? Because I know we haven't financed one of those yet. So have you seen that starting to happen in the market?
Not yet. So the way it works is San Diego or California came down and said, hey, you're allowed to do this thing. It's called AB 1033. It's where you can condoize an ADU, sell it off separately. However, the individual municipalities have to actually adopt it, put it into their code, and allow it to happen. So other states have actually been doing like Seattle is a place that it's like super known for. California, like a couple other places in California are doing it now. However, there's still like these learning lessons, and San Diego City specifically is now allowing it in this next land development code update, but they haven't fully updated it as of now.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, and then from there, once you're allowed, then it's actually now you're going to have to go through the full cycle. There's going to be learning curves. So development moves slow, but I think that by the next generation.
Yeah, the processes will expose some of the other gaps or errors or weaknesses or whatever. Yeah, okay, I get it.
And we've been noticing a lot of the new rules that have been implemented, like cul-de-sacs and stuff like that. People who already had their plans, right, that they're going to have to revise their plans, right?
Yep.
Because before it's like you were in a cul-de-sac, you could build another 8-12 units with the ADU bonus. And has that actually changed any of your projects recently?
So for me, it hasn't actually. Okay. And I say that because I started, I don't know, other people too, but I feel like I started seeing the writing on the wall of 3-4 years ago now. People were just kind of like, it was how many units can you fit? It was what's the most that I can do? Small units make more money on paper. Like, let's just shove them in parking. Who needs that? Like San Diego's going to have the best transit system in America. 2025. Yeah, we'll see where that goes in 2050. It's not going to age very well.
Wonderful joke.
Yeah,
exactly. So I'd say about 2 years ago, I started really straying away from these denser builds and started caring more about the amenities, the outdoor space, the livability, the parking, and things like that. And so over the past 2 years, everything I bought is, I believe, significantly more modest in the density. And so none of my projects would actually have been infeasible with these new regulations. They would have maybe been a little more expensive because of some of the nuances, but every project I'm doing, it would have been feasible now within this past 2 year time frame, because I started seeing this writing on the wall. And so now I think that maybe there's some nuances that I would have changed, but overall, I think that the spirit and intent behind it was actually intelligent, and it gets it to a better product at the end of the day, which the developer needs to care about the product. So they're actually kind of helping some people out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm glad that you bring that up, because I actually have a few friend investors that, a couple of them built in South Park. You already know how great parking's there, right?
Oh, for sure.
So it's like people have to park their car 2-3 blocks away.
Terrible. Oh, I don't go to North Park because I'm just I just get mad.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Get mad. I exit the freeway and I'm instantly angry.
Yeah,
no, literally.
And then when you're talking about the feasibility study, it works if you can get tenants in there. Mm-hmm. But when the parking's a problem, it's hard to find tenants.
Yeah.
I have another buddy of mine that's actually here, in the outskirts of National City, did the same thing in a cul-de-sac. The property's trying to sell it. It was one of those, let me develop it and let me sell it. Can't sell it. It's been on the market for 6 months. Yeah. People there's no parking. I'm glad that you built 14 units on this thing, but where are they going to park?
Yeah.
And then you have all the other homes around the areas. Us Hispanics, sorry, I can say, but we bring the abuelita, that's the grandma. We bring the tia there. They come and we have some parties, bro. We got family right there, you know? Exactly. Yeah. So it's I'm seeing this problem of them overbuilding and now there's no parking, and I'm glad that they're bringing a new rule in place for that.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just build a parking lot. And just invite your family over, but hey, just go pay at the meter.
It's so true, bro. That's just the way we have to do it.
It's the family parking lot fund.
Well, hire get the cousin to do valet for everyone.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh man, so very
hilarious.
Cool. So I have some fun rapid fire here, right here.
Let's go.
I wanted to go with this. So if you can build an ADU anywhere in the world, where would that be and why?
San Diego all day. It's landlocked. You said it earlier. You have Mexico, you have ocean, you have woods and forest, and you have Camp Pendleton. It's not going anywhere. The only place you can build is up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So true. That's why a lot of people try to get us to invest in other states. I'm like, no, here I can go see it. Here I know what values go. In 7-10 years, I know my value is going to almost double. So Next one, Andy.
So what is one tool, app, or software that you can't live without, but You already mentioned Notion.
Ooh, all right. I would say email. It's called Front app. It's an email system, and I used it at my old job for like 3 years. Went on my own thing, did my own thing, and went back to Google Drive. And within a day, I was like, F that, bought it. And it's like kind of expensive, worth every single penny.
Wow.
For organization and for viewing your emails in a way that actually helps you like get through the emails in an efficient way. I save an hour and a half a day just from like not having chaos.
That's amazing. I've again, old guy on the end of this table. Haven't heard of that. I'm gonna have to go check that out right now.
I honestly,
well, I didn't hear the other one. So
Notion?
I haven't heard of Notion, so
right, well, let me
that's
know.
where I'm at. Yeah. All right, so favorite way to unwind after a long development day. Would you do jiu-jitsu, beach, or just binge watch?
Ooh, I would probably do beach. I like walking on the beach. I love sunsets. I love being outdoors in the breeze. So that I would do that all day.
Yeah. Wow, what a lucky girlfriend you have. Brian likes long walks on the beach.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this guy works out every day, so yeah. If you haven't seen him without a shirt, just watch him on
Really
Instagram.
just means I can eat more snacks.
Eat more snacks, more pizza. Just stay out of getting murdered along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I had your body, I'd be taking off my shirt all the time.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I don't need to go to the beach. I need to walk it.
I want everybody to see.
Why not?
All right, who would you pick as your dream guest for your own podcast or a show?
Oh man, can I say you guys?
Oh, dude, we're barely getting, but I appreciate the compliment. I really do.
I would love Dan Martell on my podcast.
Awesome! What a great choice.
Yeah, his methodology. I love how he thinks about relationships. I love how he thinks pragmatically about business, and I love how he integrates tech, but also is like realistic. Yeah. I love everything about him.
You know what?
That's a super balanced answer.
Dan,
yeah,
but he brings a lot of wisdom. He's one of the guys I listen to when I'm at the gym. The guy he gets in my head. I'm like, bro, it makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good guy. What's the most surprising thing people don't know about you?
Oh man, I mean, we went over a lot of it. I played tuba,
I know.
but
tuba in the Marine Corps band.
right, but just like as a notion. Oh man, what is something? I'm very intentional about travel. Since I've been out of the military, I have made it a point where I have intentionally traveled more and more each year. And so this year we did Mexico for a month, and we're doing Bali for another month this year.
What?
Because I wouldn't do it if I wasn't like, I need to be intentional about it and like schedule it out in advance and say, I'm going to plan this much time. So I'm trying to become a professional traveler.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love
That's
travel.
great. Well,
That's music to my
sounds
ears.
like Bali's a place that was like on your list that now you're actually going to go experience. What are some of the other places that you're?
So Chingu is this one little spot that is really well known for digital nomads and for like entrepreneurs and business. And I literally, there's so many people there, people in real estate development and investing and all these things, and fitness, and the culture is just very rich there. And it's actually, to answer it, actually was not on our bingo card for this year. But we got back from Mexico, and I was more productive in Mexico for a month than I've been anywhere else in my entire life up to this point. And an Instagram video just hit me the right way. And I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, want to go to Bali? and the only timing that worked with the seasons there and kind of like our time frame was like very soon. So
That's amazing. Like he looks at her like, hey, does pizza sound good tonight?
Yeah.
Hey, does evicting a client sound good on the way to pizza tonight?
That's pretty good. That's
oh
pretty
my
cool.
gosh,
So,
that's great.
like, I'm one of those, I'll go travel. I just cannot, I don't like working, but I will, you know what I mean? And so you accomplished so much while you were there, which is crazy. Speaking about good foundation, so you have a good foundation even when you travel.
it honestly, that's like the most fun to do it, because you're in this like new system. So our only criteria is like we have to have a gym. And I think that's like, if you can do that every single morning, you just go exercise every single day, everything else is easier.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so awesome, man.
That's pretty cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. You know,
that's so cool.
I'm not the only one. As I gotten older, now I like the gym more, and it's just more. For me, it's like I saw my psychiatrist, you know?
Yeah,
I got to talk to
1000%.
somebody, my mind thinks better, and I'm just more positive. I come with this energy. He says, where do you get the energy? Just go to the gym, watch. All this dopamine and all that just goes to your brain.
And
You'll be
caffeine.
good.
That's my thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, for sure. Like, I could
What
not
kind?
do it.
Where were you at?
I skip around pre-workouts. I take whatever pre-workout sounds good that day. I don't drink coffee the rest of the day because I take it right in the morning, and then I'm wired the rest of the day.
Hey, you think I talk fast now? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
need to see.
So for your projects, do you just do your own projects, or do you also provide professional advice to like a homeowner?
Yeah, great question. So it's two sides to it. So for HK Development, we look for capital partners that are interested in getting into real estate development, but don't necessarily want to deal with all the headaches, and they want to leverage our experience.
Gotcha.
So we have a methodology we can partner with them, or if somebody already owns a property and they just say, I want an ADU and I don't have the time because I'm worried about making my money in my job or whatever, we'll come in and we'll manage it full service for you.
That's awesome. And when you're saying HK Development, is that with Hugo?
No, that is so his is HK Design. We have HK Development Group. In hindsight, I realized that naming convention, but my last name's Koons and my partner's name starts with an H. So.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I know Hugo. I see him at the gym quite a bit. So
I'll tell him I said hey. And tell him he has good initials.
I will. Yeah, get it for sure. No, that's pretty cool. So what's
awesome.
like the? So you going to? 2-car garage conversions. I mean, you're doing garage conversion, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you're at a high level. You're okay with just kind of going and doing garages too?
Yeah. So I realized that I actually like the smaller projects because they're more repeatable. There's a lot less. We were able to get the system dialed. Cool. We went from, I have one project that is still going through permitting to this day, and it's been over 3 years since we bought it.
Oh my goodness.
Because there was just a lot of things we didn't know, picked the wrong team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have another project, it's 5 units that we are building out and we bought 9 months ago.
Oh geez.
And it's because we figured it out. And so instead of trying to just continually go bigger and bigger and bigger projects, I would rather do our thing, get these base hits, these doubles day in and day out, find capital partners that they want to get into it, but they don't have the time or whatever, or just help a homeowner that, it needs the help on it.
That's cool, man.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's rad.
So take me through the process real quick here. If I'm a homeowner, I want to convert my garage. What are the first things that you actually request, or what are the some of the things that you actually provide?
Yeah, so we will, if you say you hired us, it would be full service. So it would be feasibility, so you're checking that feasibility, and then design, permit, build. That's the whole process, whether you're doing 1 unit or you're doing 30 units, right?
Yeah.
There's the little nuances that go into it, but we take it through the whole thing for you. So we help you, like I use my background and my experience to help you actually determine if it's physically and financially feasible. We'll take it through design, so we'll help find the right designer for it. We'll take it all the way through. We'll manage them. We'll manage how they're managing the people, making sure we're setting expectations and timelines, not skipping things in the process, telling you exactly how much it's going to, or not exactly, but as much as we can, like how much it's going to cost, not just, give me $3,000 and I'll start designing it. We'll work with the city to push it through, and then we'll actually manage the construction for you. So it's really, the point of it is we become the developer for you.
Got it.
So we're still leveraging the designers, we're still leveraging the contractors as appropriate, but I like that, like, you can fire them. At any point. We're not the designer. We're not the contractor.
Yeah.
And you have all the relationships with all these people already.
Exactly.
So you're realistically the experienced partner.
Yeah. So we're bringing the developer to the homeowner, just in
it's like a development concierge, like from design to delivery and every step
exactly
in between, man. That's super cool.
And I'll be honest, I mean, some of the setbacks that I've seen with a lot of people, they come back, is I see the bids that these contractors are coming out. It's like, 400, 600 a square foot. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're in Chula Vista. It's like, you're not La Jolla.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, what they're offering, when you see their budget, you're like, well, wait a minute, you're not even getting top grade stuff like here. You're getting the regular shaker cam, and I get it. But it's like, why are you paying for that? It's pretty crazy. I've seen some bids like interior, exterior, and it's like a 1,200 square foot home, 28,000.
That's crazy.
I'm like,
no.
Something's
not working there. Exactly. And so it's one of those things. We'll find the best value where everyone, some people are just focused on price, where there's more to value than just price. There's communication. There's actual ability to get it done quickly. There is the price. There's ability to do it well. There's a lot more that goes into it, and we kind of look for the highest value, not just the lowest price.
I like that, man. I know I like that, because you're really grabbing that non-experienced homeowner that doesn't understand building designer. Like, who is that? When you talk about feasibility study, who is fizzy, and what's the ability that they're going to provide, right? Like, what's going on right there? And so it's hard to understand. I just understood that when I got in. It's like, you check what the market rents are going to be, so they make sure that their investment is going to be paid off, and you guys are grabbing all this data from the area where it's at, which is pretty darn cool.
Exactly. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, Brian, is there anything that we didn't ask you about today that you wish we had asked you to give you a chance to talk about?
Oh man, yeah, no, I just anyone who wants to do the ADU thing, I have specifically built my businesses around each level of do-it-yourself. So I have a course if somebody wants to do it on their own with all the tools that I built over the past 5 years of nightmares. I have an entire community around teaching it on a weekly basis, which is the Builder Nation, and then I have the development company, which is the full service. So any level of headache that you want, I can help service that or help you get through the learning curve a little quicker.
His framing is pretty funny. Any level of headache that you'd like to endure yourself,
Right.
Here you go.
Do you want medium headache, light headache, or no headache?
Like a game setting, easy, medium, or hard.
That's pretty much what it is.
And
man.
then if people do want to reach out to you, we'll put the information in the description box, but what's the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, best way is I'm on all the platforms as the Builder Brian. I'm super active on Instagram is probably the main one. So just shoot me a message on there.
Awesome.
God dang, we're already at that point in time right here. Like seriously,
Dude, I know. It feels like
we're gonna boot you out already,
You know,
bro.
it feels like only a couple minutes have passed, but like we've done like a show plus. It's been amazing, man. You're
right.
so well spoken and you have great answers. You've thought through all this. You've experienced it, and I love your heart for sharing it with
Yes.
people. That I think over everything else that you've shared today. I think seeing your passion for it and then your action oriented approach is really impressive, and I'm really proud of that. Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys for giving me the opportunity to speak on it.
Absolutely, bro. I'm just like, bro, I wanted more, right? Because it's just like, it just resonates and you're just, I got myself inspired by what you're saying, you know, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch this and say like, I'm also in the military. So it's very relatable, everything that you're talking about. And being at your age, it's like you're well accomplished, but you're still just going out there creating this mastermind group to, you know, for these investors to get into, or non-investors actually for that matter, and you're just trying to alleviate some of that pain that because you know, if I saw the stats on building a property from just a first-time developer, not a developer but a homeowner, the stats were 85% against you.
Oh yeah, there's charts that show like about 40% of projects that get started don't finish.
Bro, I was like, that's mind-boggling.
That's a lot.
It's
That
a lot
seems
of
like a lot.
projects. It's it's a lot.
So having
Oh, man.
going with you now, I can feel like now I feel confident it's gonna
playing
the
the
project's
odds.
gonna get done. You know,
Just playing the odds.
it's
Wow.
like going to Vegas. You know, am I gonna win? But with you, we will win.
Yeah, you're going to win for sure. Memo, thank you so much
Of course.
for a great show today. Brian, thank you so much for coming on to be
Yes.
with us today.
Thank you guys for
And
having me.
you've taught us something, you've inspired us, and I hope that it's
Yes.
brought encouragement to all the audience watching as well. So thank you for coming by, friends of Mortgage Heroes. To all of you who are finding us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, follow Brian on Instagram and all the other platforms he's on. Look for the Builder Brian. His contact information will be in the description box below. And if you have questions or comments you want to ask for either Memo, myself, or Brian, put them in the comment box or reach out to us directly so we can help you along your journey for winning in real estate and mortgage as well. So you guys, thank you so much for an awesome
Appreciate
show
you.
today.
Thank you guys.
All right. Well, that's it for us today. Thank you all. We will see you again with another great guest next week. See ya.
See ya.